Hello and welcome to the Console Gaming League. It is grand final season as we bring to you today the North American Tier 3 grand final between Pandora's Wrath and No Sympathy. Joining me today is Rcast as my color commentator and Joe Chris Ransom as our producer for the evening. How are you doing, folks?
This is the finals. Pandora's Wrath, No Sympathy. This is going to be a great match. Everything's been leading up to this in the Tier 3 NA scene, and it's all coming ahead right now.
Both these teams having stellar records so far this season, 9-1, 8-1, respectively, I believe. The first and second seed both walking to 3-1 victories here in the semifinals, so doing very well for themselves. And exactly what you want here in the grand final, right? You want the two top seeds to play off in an absolute blowout right at the very end. So, extremely excited to see everything go down here in just a couple minutes as we're waiting for some readies to come through. I believe the starting lineups have been confirmed. We have Raven and Zephyr on the side of Pandora's Wrath's tank line, Crimson, Zac, Zambi, Combat Frogger, making everything else up. On the side of No Sympathy, it looks like it's going to be Red Phantom, Supreme, Alexis, Angel Boy, Ensicle, as well as Quad. These are lineups and players we've all been familiar with all season. We know that these teams can play together. We know that they play for their DPS to pop off. So really excited to see what this has for us, Arcas.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting match. I can't speak. It's going to be a very interesting map. Both teams at the top, the first and second seed. So it's going to be very, very close on skill level. Pandora's Wrath are the number one seed. They have quite an advantage in the map differential, but it could still go either way. This is going to be very high level. You're going to see a lot of great action.
Well, it looks like our first map here is going to be Lijiang Tower, which is one of my favorite control maps. I think it's very dynamic. You can run lots of different compositions into it. There are places where the Symmetra brawls to play. There are places where Junkrat dominates. And of course, there are places where, the dive and the Wrecking Ball are incredibly dominant and really favored on this point. So it's just always fun to start off on a point that really straight off the bat tests our team's ability to be flexible and run these different compositions and be very map dependent here.
Yeah.
Just jumping in immediately here, Lijiang as well, just one of my personal favorite maps as well, just because I've been to the surrounding area lots of times as a child, growing up in China. So just a bit of a personal connection there, Arcas.
Yeah, ni hao. I know a bit of Chinese. I know a bit
No,
about
there we go. That's all we
culture.
need. That's
Yeah.
all you need. Looks like we're now going to be coming into the
Ready for battle. Five, four, three, two, one.
uh,
Round one.
Echo
Capture.
that allows you to have a lot more range. And this is the rangiest of the maps, so it's a lot more favorable to the dive comp. It's the one map you really don't have to run the brawl. It's gonna be very interesting to see how both comps go against each other here.
Well, a quick Symmetra TP is going to be able to get No Sympathy on point nice and quickly. They are hunkered down, and eventually they do end a big Fire Strike kill. That is the first elimination of this grand final, as Raven is going to eat a Fire Strike to the face. Lots of damage coming out from Village Boy here, but even more from Crimson, who's already 70% of their way onto that Earth Shatter. Zac is going to get chunked down extremely low, though, here, and it looks like No Sympathy have made a rotation left very, very well here. Pandora's bots might have felt like they had the upper hand, trying to rotate over, but No Sympathy was just that little bit quicker and a little bit more coordinated than Arcas.
Oh, No Sympathy were able to get onto the point first, and they're running the brawl. That's where the brawl is the most effective, on the point in the close quarters, where you can really utilize the melee range Reinhardt, the spam damage from the Junkrat, just the heal from the Moira, the speed boost from Lucio. It's very, very potent in that small area, and the TP gets them there, so they don't even have to play through the long, rangy sight lines. They just completely avoid the dive.
Well, Shatter is going to come through. Supreme is on their back, but stays alive. Other Shatter is going to come through as well. This absolutely gets blocked here. Really good work by Crimson, who eventually does go down to that Coalescence. Pandora as well, just looking very, very comfortable here for now.
Yeah. No Sympathy able to just ult out, stay alive. I believe they used 3 to Pandora's Wrath's 1. Still have ults in the bank. Sympathy, they're the only one with ults. Pandora's Wrath now just build up their 1. They're going to build up 3 for this fight. It's going to be 3 versus 3 if Sympathy's Zarya is able to get that ult up. So it could be very even here.
Frogger overextending just a little bit and eventually is going to fall off the map. Riptire is going to come out as well, and No Sympathy is going to continue their chokehold here on the payload and the punch control point here. Grav is coming online as well, but the key to everything, Arcast, it looks like Quad has been able to hold on to that sound barrier.
Yeah, that sound barrier is going to be huge. It's going to nullify 1, maybe 2 ult if you use it at its most effectiveness here. So that 1 ult is basically a whole fight in itself. That'll give time to build up other ults.
Now, Diva Bomb coming in is going to trigger the sound barrier here from Quad, but Zephyria is going to, switch onto the Reinhardt and then pin off the map by taking Angel Boy with them. The Data is going to find Quads as well, and it looks like ultimates are being committed left, right, and center here as Pandora's Box now ticks into OT, but they do manage to start to swing control back in their favor. Just Phantom left on point. Oh no, Raven eating the Junkrat droppings real quick, but looking pretty healthy here. And the key here, like I said for the last fight, support ultimates online for the defending team.
Yeah, Pandora's Wraith able to take the Reinhardt out in the very beginning. If you don't have that main tank, there's nothing you have to hold the ground that you need to hold for that brawl. You're just able to push right in, and they're just able to do that. Now they're going to come in with ults. They didn't really have to use ults. They used 2 there, I believe. So now they can come in with the rest of their ult that they have built.
All right, looks like both Coalescences haven't engaged here. Just the lightsabers dueling around on point. So far, so good, though. Nobody going down into Earth Shatter, or sorry, the Sound Barrier is going to be forced out here on the side of Frogger. Riptire now into the backline, finding a double kill. Red Phantom doing exactly what is required of a DPS player, turning that into a triple kill as well to try to close out this point. It's just the Diva left on point. I don't think anybody else can touch it. This is going to be tough. Really good work from No Sympathy, really clinical attack. Very coordinated, all pressing triangle at the same time. They storm onto the point, and Earthshatter in the end just to flex, and they are going to be able to secure first point here on Lijiang Tower in the Console Gaming League.
Yeah, Sympathy puts themselves in a great spot to take the first map, putting themselves in a greater spot to take the whole finals in of itself. They used their composition. It's somewhat of an off composition here, not exactly the best composition for the map, but it's just good enough, just off enough that put Pandora's Wraith just in spots that they couldn't really take on. You're able to get on the point, you're able to brawl on the map that you can't really run the full brawl comp on because you need to get to the point crossing a bunch of sightlines. Sympathy just completely nullify that with the Sim TP. Coming into this map, this is the heaviest brawl map here, and we only see swaps in the DPS side. The Mei Reaper versus Junkrat McCree, that is going to be a huge difference here.
Yeah, the Mei wall is going to be absolutely crucial to start fights off here. And Crimson already starting off, taking down 4 all by themselves. That's kind of silly. Really, really good work here from Pandora's Box here. Giving up first point, but definitely still here to party as an extremely swift take of launch control center here, Arcas.
Yep, very quick, very effective. The Reaper comes in. The Reaper Mei is just, and with the Diva, the speed boost, it's very quick, very potent, very lethal. And you have to just win very quickly or you're not going to win against this comp.
Now, Angel here is being able to get extremely aggressive and is going to be able to help Alexis take down Crimson as well. But now both teams missing their Reinhardts. No barrier on point. I was going to prompt out the Coalescence just to stabilize, and Zambi is going to find a double kill. Really good work here for Pandora's Box to notice that they're in a little bit of trouble and just say it. That's fine. We'll just hit triangle. We'll stabilize. We're going to be okay. So both teams using their Reinhardts early, but Pandora's Box is going to continue to hold on to the point. And Pandora's Wraith is going to continue to hold out and come out on top in this fight. Now they're holding this really aggressive early choke, Arcas.
Yeah, they're holding it forward. You have, like with the Mei wall, you can. Well, they're not going to be able to use the Mei wall, but you can get that early pick to just stop the fight going very quickly with the Mei wall.
Bomb comes out into the backline, and all the chaos DPS are able to pop off here. Raven and Red Phantom getting picks left, right, and center. Angel Boy is not going to pin onto the point, taking Zephyria out with them, but it's a bit of, yeah, lots of chaotic melees going all around here, and Angel Boy is going to be taken down as well. Once again, Pandora's Wraith are going to continue to look very comfortable here as we take closer and closer towards last fight territory.
Yeah, that was a very, very heavy brawl fight there. Picks left, right, and center, and it just came down to, what I saw there was the Reaper just making a huge difference, getting some picks as the fight went in. Sympathy weren't able to really get the fight-sustaining picks that they needed. Pandora's Wraith were able to, and now we're going to see a huge ult.
The Shadow's going to find 4. That is absolutely enormous. Now quad here with the sound barrier just to be safe, and I don't think that was necessary. Angel Boy just found an opening, found Crimson with that shield down, and that slam is so big. 4-5 players on their back, completely flattened. And Angel Boy just taking that free ult charge of those free picks, and now with the free control percentage as well.
Yeah, that was a huge ult there, but the counter to that is now all the ults that were supposed to be used that fight are now going to get used this fight, and that puts Sympathy at a disadvantage.
Red Phantom beating the first one down here is going to hurt, because as you're coming through this narrow choke point, you're expecting a Junkrat to get a lot of work done. It looks like No Sympathy might just be in a little bit of trouble here, and a grab gets eaten. Oh my goodness, Zach, hungry hippos over here, as Crimson's now going to take down 2 and clean up that front line as well. Things are looking good for Pandora's Wraith.
Yeah, they had the ult advantage coming into the last fight there. Sympathy used the early ult. They got 1 ult, which is is what you want. You want to get 1 ult and done, but then that left them at the ult disadvantage. And Pandora's Wraith just came in, used their ults, bada bing, bada bam, bada boom, have the brawl, push right in, and they take the point.
And are we expecting to see more brawl here on this point?
This is the middle map of Lijiang. It's not as divey as Garden, but it's not as brawl as Control Center. This has very nice long sight lines, but it has very close quarters as well. That's why you're seeing a bunch of swaps. You're going to see the Orisa, you're going to see the Sigma. We're going to see that Symmetra once again from both sides here. Both sides running the same DPS. If Symmetra, Symmetra Junkrat. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how both go.
Oh, it looks like Alexis just kind of fell off the wrong side of the TP there, which kind of enables Pandora's Wrath to just get a bit of a head start on getting the foothold down. Not only that, they do have a Lucio for that speed boost and sustain as well, and that's going to allow Zach the Turtle on their Orisa to set up extremely comfortably on point here.
Yeah, Pandora's Wraith are running somewhat of a bunker comp. They have the Baptiste Immortality Field, they have double shield with Orisa Reinhardt, and the Lucio for just widespread AoE heals. That is a very, very hard comp to push into, especially if that Immortality Field is active, and Sympathy just were unable to get in.
And Supreme here on the Ashe could find themselves in a little bit of trouble trying to fight sightlines to get that damage done. The Dynamites are landing. That's already 21% to a Bob, so I could be wrong here. Now, swinging away, we have Crimson continue to hold that front line, but the Immortality Field is baited out, prompting a use of the Amplification Matrix as well. Fire comes through, not finding anybody, and eventually it is going to be the Zambi to be the first one down and able to make too much use out of that, but Raven is going to answer back. Red Phantom is going to pay for their crimes here. The Symmetra Wall, the Photon Barrier is going to be committed as well, but that's not going to stop a Coalescence as Ensico finding 3. Raven desperately trying to fight back here, but it looks like No Sympathy are going to be able to take control of the point, bar a couple stalls coming through, potentially. Oh, absolute chaos on point. So Red Phantom is back. We should to take so much damage from that Sim TV. Oh, the Rip Tire was pulled out, but it gets destroyed. You were right in front of the Rhinehammer, and somehow, with the help of Crimson and some really great juggling work from Frogger, Pandora's Wraith managed to hold on to the point. I don't believe what I'm seeing, Arcaz.
Yeah, that was just a masterclass of how to stall the points out. Lucio just doesn't die. Everyone comes back in. They're able to get 1-2 picks, and that's enough to snowball the fight back in your favor. Especially since at that point, No Sympathy's not going to commit any more ults. They're down. They're getting respawned on, and they think they already won the fight. So there's no need in their heads to ult. They think they already have it, and there's no ults going to be used. But that now leads to this fight, which is going to be a massive ult fight.
Oh my goodness, the Nano Boost is going to commit it as this Angel Blow is busy swinging around the Earth Shatter lands with a shatter. Oh my goodness, the tire is going to find 5. Zephyria, you absolute madman. I don't believe what I've just seen. And Pandora's Wrath are going to be able to take the first map here in the Console Gaming League Tier 3 Grand Finals. What a bit of play right at the end there. The ultimates coming out were absolutely enormous. And the crowning achievement out of all of this was this enormous tire from Zephyria. What a play, Arcast. What a way to close out the first map of our grand final.
5K is one way to close it out. Just Pandora's Wraith had too many ults there. No Sympathy had one ult combination, and they were banking on that the Nano Reinhardt with the Shatter. You push forward to try and get that Shatter off, able to dodge the counter Shatter, but unable to protect the rest of the team because you need to go forward, and that's the only thing you're banking on. It's going to come down to the overtime. You need to hit that Shatter, and they hit it. It's just after everyone else is dead, and there's just too many ults from Pandora there. Just it swarms the rest of the team. They're able to just get a beautiful 5-man there. Riptire comes in, just cleans it up. I'm not even sure the Shatter got everyone. Just the Riptire just capitalized on it so perfectly. Like, no matter what you could do with the Reinhardt, no matter what you put into the Reinhardt, there's no way they're gonna live through the 6 other people on point. They could hit a 6-person Shatter, and it wouldn't matter because they wouldn't be able to kill everyone in time. The respawns aren't gonna come in quick enough. They're just gonna get taken out from a long range. Junkrat's gonna spam damage. Sims turrets just general sustain, and just tanks are able to just whittle the Reinhardt down. So there's not much you can do there. You just have to somehow manage ult after ult while also pushing in. Just it's a very hard situation, and No Sympathy were not able to deal with that.
Well, I think that if anything, the Nano was coming out onto Angel Boy kind of distracted them from the idea that there was an Earth Shatter coming, because Angel Boy was just swinging away, and when when the Shadow came out, they weren't even close to throwing their shield up. So I think they might have just gotten a little bit. There might have been some tunnel vision. You know, we're closing on OT. It is the 3rd point. And seeing that timer tick down is always stressful. So as soon as the Nano Boost comes in, you're going to be able to want to do a lot of cleave damage. You're going to be able to want to take that Reinhardt out nice and early. Make sure your DPS players don't have a shield to contend with. And yeah, I think Pandora's Wrath played that perfectly around that. And once again, like you said, like chat's been exploding, like all of us have been saying, what an enormous tire coming out from Zephyria. Some lessons to take away, though, other than the great plays, confirming what we already know about the pop-up potential of these players. Both these teams very comfortable running the brawl and willing to sacrifice what the community considers as meta in order to continue to sustain and enable the brawl. There were points on tower there where a lot of Ball and Monkey, a lot of Roadhog is played, a lot of CC heroes are played, but once again, both these teams continuing to commit to the brawl. So looking forward to see more of that going forward.
Yeah, it is going to be very interesting to see, especially since it's a lot more of No Sympathy having to run off compositions to take out Pandora Wraith's brawl. Pandora Wraith just have a bit of an edge there. They're able to run the May, the Reaper, which aren't what you generally see, but it's also what you generally see. It's a very weird way how that works out, but it's more No Sympathy they're gonna have to run a bit of off compositions. So they're going to be able to pick the map here, I believe, which is going to help them quite a bit in getting that map that they need to take out Pandora's Wraith. So it's going to be very interesting to see what map they pick and then what composition they run. If they can get Pandora's Wraith to run a Brawl-esque composition on a map that favors a bit more of a dive composition, but you can really run either one, then No Sympathy might just be able to out composition them on a map they choose.
Yeah, and usually this deep into the season, teams know exactly what maps they're going to be picking. Teams know exactly where to go with it. They've rehearsed the scenario over and over again. I'm going to assume this is how teams have been scrimming as well. I know when my team reaches playoffs, that's how that's how the entire league scrims. And I think what's really important here, like you said, it is the map choice. Every team thinks that they're really good at Kings Row, so that's going to be my prediction, Arcas. I think we're going to be traveling to London very soon. And I think I agree with what you said. I think the idea of picking off composition and running some stuff that's off meta might be in their best interests, especially as a no sympathy fan. But I just get a good feeling that they're going to commit to the brawl here. They're really comfortable running the Ryan, the Diva, the Zarya, and of course, like you said, the Mei, McCree, Reaper, all the brawly heroes we associate with that era of Overwatch. So that's my best guess.
Well, it's the King's Row is we're good. No, the King's Row is it's what I see. I'd see the perfect map for Sympathy would be Numbani. Has a nice amount of dive you could run. Have really nice off compositions you could run. You could run a Bastion. You could run a Torbjorn. You can run that surprise pick to really throw Pandora's Wraith off. While Pandora's Wraith could also say we can just run Brawl. It's a really good Brawl map. It's not as good as a Brawl map compared to a dive composition, but that's a bit depending on the team. So that's my guess of what they would pick is the Numbani. But yeah, King's Row is still very much in contention. I'd say it's between one of those two maps, King's Row and Numbani.
All right. Well, find out after the break. We're just going to take a short interlude before we continue. Stick around and find out where we head next. Hello and welcome back to the Console Gaming League. We are in the middle of the North American Tier 3 Grand Finals at the moment. We have No Sympathy facing off against Pandora's Wrath. Right now, Pandora's Wrath just took the lead on Lijiang Tower, and it looks like our prophecies have come true. We do head to Lijiang for this next map. Or sorry, we do head to King's Row for this next map.
I was about to say, London and China are two very different places. But no, we are going to go on to King's Row. Great brawl map here. Bit of surprise that No Sympathy would pick King's Row here. I believe it was their pick. It's a lot more brawl, and we saw on Lijiang Tower Control Center that Pandora's Wrath did a lot better on the brawl on Control Center with the Reaper, the Mei. So you're gonna see how what both teams run. There's still a lot of off meta strategy you could do. You could do a sim, you could do a Bastion on defense. We'll have to see what No Sympathy has planned here. But if they're coming in with just we play it a lot, it's our most scrimmed map. We feel really comfortable on it. They're not it's not looking good if that's their plan coming in, because most likely Pandora's Wrath has the same situation of it's our most scrimmed. We feel really comfortable on it. So with Sympathy, I'm wondering what they have in store for us here.
We'll just find out very soon. Like you said, King's Row, very tight chokes here, but we do see sometimes some double sniper works as well with the spam damage of the Hanzo and the Ashe. A lot of times finding a lot of work done here. But no surprise here, looks like a Ryan Zarya is going to come out on the side of No Sympathy. They're going to stick with the Ryan Diva though. Pandora's Wraith, very comfortable with their running there. So looks like the defensive team here. Ooh, No Sympathy, no Lucio, no problems here. This is going to be an interesting one, seeing that being that brawl heavy with no Lucio could a lot of times put your team as a deficit.
Yeah, well, they're trying to make it up with the heavy spam damage, Hanzo Junkrat, the just Zarya for bubbles, the Immortality Field, and the Ana. That's enough heals and enough just staying power to really not need the Lucio. The Lucio is always a help. Lucio has the only speed changing ability in the game. But this might be enough to circumvent the Lucio.
Well, we see the Junkrat Red Phantoms is just going to set up in the hotel here, dealing lots of nice spam and covering that very, very good pathing off here. Is forced to back up as the fight very quickly now rotates over onto the point with the speed. Once again, looks like Pandora's Wrath is going to be able to engage much better. The wall comes out, is able to be dodged there. Really good work from No Sympathy to make sure Angelo wasn't left alone either side of that thing. Immortality Field is going to be forced out. It's going to be taken down nice and early as Guerrilla Gaming and Angel Bar are going to be our first casualties of this map.
Yeah, it's just gonna continue from there. Pandora's Wrath are able to just push forward. They have the Mei use the walls to create space. It's another shield. It's another Reinhardt shield in of itself, and that's just creating space. It was so far back that No Sympathy just are unable to get back onto the point, and unable to get a foothold on the point, and you need to play on the point, otherwise the point's going to get taken. And they just weren't able to get back on the point.
Arcas, I should send you to some of my solo queue ranked teammates with that wisdom. But Angel Boy here already at 80% of their way to the shadow, but Crimson already with that check mark ready to go here. Does the Earth Shatter come down? Well, it's not necessary at the moment because a really good wall is going to come out, but eventually the hammer is laid down. Two taken out in the back. The DPS heroes of No Sympathy are out of commission, and Crimson follows up with a really, really nice pin and a couple of hammer swings. Ace just going to clean that up nice and easy. No Sympathy wasn't given ability, like any time to even answer back at any chance here, and it looks like Alexis might just get staggered out here with a personal bubble. Might just be able to get it alive, and eventually is going to reunite with her tank partner Angel Boy here, who starts to take a little bit of space. Did end up using that Earth Shatter right at the end there, and now they're going to have to touch right at the end. Nano Boost is now going to be committed, but the last time we saw Nano Boosted Rhino, some crazy stuff happened. Raven here with the Blossom ready to go, but not before Phantom is going to find them with that tire. We see No Sympathy here just playing really safely around this Immortality field. Oh, Raven coming in with a triple kill! Despite the Immortality field's best efforts, Raven is going to find 4. A really, really good reaction time from Quad to be able to land a Bionade on them, but that was too little too late. That Ana gets deleted along with 3 other of their teammates. Pandora's Wrath is on an absolute tear so far.
Yeah, Pandora's Wrath is just playing at such a fast tempo here. They're dictating the pace that this map is being played in. And when you have a Mei on the team that's dictating the pace, it is so hard to get that pace back. So hard to get back into it.
Ooh, Diva Bomb coming onto the backline along with Zephyr means that there are no supports online now for No Sympathy, as Pandora's Wrath, now living up to that name, continue to storm forward. Just the lonely little Ash up top. Red Phantom is going to be taken down. I don't think the contest is even going to come out. They have 4 on cart. The Mei wall is up there to wall the recontest off, but the dragons here are going to be absolutely massive, forcing Pandora's Wrath off the point, making them fight for this control here. The sound barrier is now committed on the side of Frogger, and 4 picks coming out there could just be too much for No Sympathy to contend with, as they're left with just Angel Boy here spinning to winning, but against the Mei and the hammer of Reinhardt, that just might be too much to contend with. Pandora's Wrath taking Lijiang Tower and now pushing through King's Row at an absolutely blistering pace.
Yeah, Pandora's Wrath, they came into us last fight with the ult advantage. No Sympathy had the ult combination of the Grav Dragons. They just weren't able to get that ult combination off. They did the Dragons, and then they did the Grav at the very end. Pandora's Wrath had the sound barrier. I believe they had both support ult. I'm not exactly sure. I know they used the sound barrier to sustain themselves through that, and they were able to just out ult No Sympathy. No Sympathy have to come in like 2 by 2, maybe 3, 2, 1. They have to trickle in, and if you're trickling in to a series of ults, it is just a recipe for disaster. You're just not going to be able to live through that. You don't have anyone there backing you. All the focus of not only the 6 people, but of their ults are on you. You're just not going to live, and that's what we saw Pandora's Wrath do there. Just zone the point, all the ults, focus fire, and that was it.
And how much do you think the lack of a Lucio impacted their performance there?
Ooh, that's a very good one. Without the Lucio, there was just No Sympathy were just getting not necessarily outmaneuvered, but they were definitely not in control of the pacing of the match. Pandora's Wrath had the Lucio, they had the Mei. They could control how fast they pushed in and how fast Sympathy pushed in. And with that dictating of pace of play, it is such a strong advantage to have this a character that can make you go slow, and the character that makes your team go fast. It is such an advantage to have. And
Arcas, we're now seeing a double barrier, double flyer composition here, raining damage into the backline. Raven is going to be the first one down here. The Immortality field is committed in a very awkward position that's very easy to take out, and kind of flyers galore here. Just a bit of a dogfight up in the air, and it is going to pay off on the side of No Sympathy, who are looking to replicate that same record-setting speed that Pandora's Wrath had on their attack run.
Yeah, this is that composition that Sympathy were just hiding away. The double fly, double shield. This, as a train goes past, because of course it's going past, But with the double flying, it's a comp you never expect, but always one that you think could happen. They are going to swap off the Echo for the McCree to counter the McCree to keep the Pharah up in the air. But that just such an off composition. You would never think, oh, okay, we're going to go into King's Row. Better get ready for a Pharah Echo double shield composition. And it's such a smart move to play that off.
Oh, Angel Boy is taken down, and with no shield there, the Earth Shatter is going to be able to find 4 now. Red Phantom is going to go down as well. Really good work here from Crimson to be able to lock down Angel Boy there, which is absolutely massive in their efforts to be able to hold onto this choke. Now, Arcaz, you and I both know this is one of the most difficult chokes to have to push through in the entire game. So we're going to use a Nano Boost to push in, but the counter Nano is there as well. The Shatter is blocked. Diva Bomb is going to take down Quad as well. Gorilla here is with the Barrage, finding 2 before the Matrix is able to find them and cover up the rest of that ultimate. Looks like the damage is done already. Just a bit of chaos here before Zac is finally going to be able to punish Gorilla for their aggression. And it looks like Pandora's Wrath is going to be able to hold on for the time being.
Yeah, no, Sympathy just they didn't ult first and they ulted more. That's a very risky trade-off. There's a lot of picks from both sides of Pandora's Wrath. Just got the first ults, they got the kills first. You get as many kills as you want, but once again it comes down to that last point on the young. If you're only one person, you're not gonna win against 2 to 3. And that's what we saw there. Ult's now online.
Yeah, Pandora's Wrath is going to push forward here after using the Bob, looking pretty comfortable here, and it's just going to retake the point here. It's just looking tough for No Sympathy. They every time they win, it looks like they have to lose 2 fights to win 1, and that's at that rate they're never going to be able to catch up to the pacing that Pandora's Wrath have been able to set up.
Now, the fundamental problem with losing 2 to win 1 is you have to lose, and eventually you're going to get to overtime where you can't lose, and that is where the problems start arising.
Oh my goodness, Crimson jumps around the corner to land that shadow. Now the follow-up isn't there, but big style points on the side of Pandora's Wrath here. Now the Flux is going to be committed 3 up in the air. Zephyria just overexposing them they'd like, but the Immortality Field from Frogger is going to be so big to keep them up. Now the Ryan pinning in just to buy a little space, but the purple coming up. Oh no, Crimson being antied means that Nano was not able to grant them the 300 health. Gorilla Gaming now with the Dragon is going to buy them a lot of time and a lot of space as well. Raven here desperately trying to stay alive, a Dynamite being tossed in as well, but eventually the Ashe is forced to back up as Zac the Turtle is demech and sent back to spawn.
Yeah, Pandora's Wrath ulted first. This time they just weren't able to get anything, and that gave No Sympathy just the green light. They couldn't get anything with their ult. They're gonna push up a bit. Now we ult. They're backing up. We have their backstep. This is a perfect time to use ults, and they used them, and they got just all the value they could out of it pushing into the last bit here. They have the ult advantage, and it looks like they're gonna take it.
Oh, so the contest doesn't even come through, and Angel Boy is going to find Zephyria with that Earth Shatter as well. So not only are they unable to stall the point for any longer than they wanted to, Pandora's Wrath here also gave up the lives of both their DPS heroes to be able to take that little bit of space, which they were not able to capitalize on. So now, back where they started, back in their spawn, it's almost one fight territory here, Arcas.
Yeah, well, I actually like what Sympathy did there. They ulted before Pandora could get to the point. Looking at Pandora's ult economy, they're at the 80, 60, 70 range, all but the Diva, who's at 40. Ulting first, making sure that they can't get onto the point, is a smart move, because otherwise they'd be down. The longer the fight goes, the less chance they have of winning, and just ending the fight, or not even letting the fight happen, is the guarantee.
Crimson is going to be Nano, but looks in a big deal of trouble, and an enormous anti-nade out of Zambi is going to connect here. Not for the first time today. We saw Crimson go for a shatter that lands, but just not in the most opportune time in order to set their team up to be able to capitalize on that damage and that CC. And now the stalls from Pandora's Wrath are going to have to trickle through. Red Phantom eventually is actually going to get knocked off the map. Another Earth Shatter coming out. I don't believe this found anybody this time, but now they're still swinging away. Angel Boy in a little bit of trouble, but the healing is present. Raven finding a pick could just be too little too late, as Angel Boy just getting so much work done on that front line, but no supports being there is going to spell out a lot of trouble, and it's just a lonely Hanzo of Gorilla Gaming, desperately trying to hold on. Takes down Frogger, though, but the longer the stall lasts, the better it is for the defensive team, as Crimson is just going to do what a main tank does best, and is going to take that sleep dart over their comrades, and they are able to hold on for a little bit longer here. Pandora's Wrath hang on by just a thread.
By just a thread. But at this point, they're down in ults. No Sympathy putting themselves in a great spot to take it here. The longer the fight goes, the more it favors them if they can get the ults. It's a very nice window that they have of favorability here.
Really nice Dragon Strike to zone everybody off here, and it looks like Zack the Turtle is going to be, separated from the rest of the team and unable to help Crimson and Raven out here. The Flux is going to be committed as well, slamming them down onto the ground. Zephyr going to be taken out as well. Gorilla, getting resurrected as well, is just looking better and better for No Sympathy on this attack run. I don't think anybody else can touch, and the solo shatter onto Combat Frogger is going to be able to solidify that as Crimson pins him just a little bit too late. Both teams are able to complete their attack runs as we head now into overtime. Rounds 3s and 4s are now, rounds points 4, 5, and 6 now up for grabs, Arcas.
Yeah, this is going to come down to the wire here. Pandora's Wrath is in a great position here to take the map with, what, 3 times? At least 3 times. A bit more than 3 times the time bank of No Sympathy. You got to say 3 times, otherwise it doesn't work. And with that last fight there, No Sympathy, they had the ult economy in their favor. It just so happened to work out that they build up their ults in the last fight, while Pandora's Wrath built it up in that next fight, built it up at the end. They were at 95, just barely got the ult as they died. Unable to use the ults, but No Sympathy, if that fight would have gone on any longer, they would have had 3 more ults, but Pandora's Wrath would have started getting a lot more than just 3 ults coming in, and that fight could have very easily gone to Pandora's Wrath. Now, coming into the attack for Sympathy now, the 4th point attack now, it's a bit more of the same here. Sympathy gonna run what they were running on defense now. Pandora gonna keep their defense comp. So this is now the defending comp versus the defending comp, almost. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this goes.
They switch sides a little bit. They are going to stick with the very spam-heavy Hanzo Junkrat, but I'm not sure how that's going to work out for them as the attacking team. Oh, so the wall does come out. Gorilla was in a little bit of trouble, but an immense immortality field from Icicle is going to make sure everybody stays up here. So now the Rhine swing away just for a little bit. Another really good wall coming up here means Angel Boy is going to be a little bit of trouble. And it looks like No Sympathy are now going to be battered and sent back to spawn. Crimson now also barrierless, though, as looks like Pandora's Wrath did lose their main tank player here. So just waiting for that Reinhardt to regroup. That opening can be what No Sympathy needs.
That is exactly what No Sympathy needs. They need to get in there right now. They need to dictate the pace of play here. They don't have a Lucio. They're fighting a Mei and a Lucio. They need to get in there before the Reinhardt's able to really set up.
Well, Crimson gets back just in time, and it looks like that lack of a Lucio on King's Row is going to hurt them yet again. Angel Boy now looking for an off angle, but without the Earth Shatter, the Dragon Strike coming out into the backline is just going to be able to zone Pandora's Wrath out just a little bit. Now the Shatter comes out, finding Alexis on the ground. Is the follow-up there? Well, that's a Coalescence at the very least, and it looks like some tanks are just going to get traded out as well. Looks like we're just as a little bit of a numbers deficit for the attacking team, but the picks are going to come through. Gorilla and Angel Boy are absolutely popping off here, but Zack the Turtle, alongside Combat Frogger, is just going to be able to hang on. Demon Mom coming out now is just going to prolong this set a little longer, but Zack the Turtle unable to remap. A solo Reinhardt on the point, capturing on King's Row. You love to see it, Arcas. So what a bit of play here coming out on the side of No Sympathy to clutch this out in overtime. They're now going to be able to afford it an opportunity to push forward here, but they are going to get some butts on that cart.
Yeah, No Sympathy. Just take it with the Reinhardt. One person left. That's you can get. There's very little you can get as closer than that fight was. This fight's gonna have a lot of ults. No Sympathy gonna build up 4 ults here. Pandora's Wrath have the double DPS, and that is a deadly combination. The freeze and the Death Blossom. That's enough to win it right here.
The Dragon Strike coming out to zone everybody up was absolutely enormous, but the Flux is forced out as Gorilla Gaming does go down. So both these teams are choosing to commit I can't believe it. It looks like Pandora's Wrath are able to make it work. Raven and Zephyr on the DPS duo absolutely popping off. The Nano Boost comes out onto Angel, but it's too little too late. That Reinhardt stepped off point for just long enough. They somehow make it work. It looks so bad because the Dragon Strike had come out and split that Reinhardt off, who ends up eating a rock to the face and getting sent back to spawn. But somehow, through some miracle, Zephyr and Raven were just able to absolutely pop off out of their minds there with some of the best Overwatch that they've played so far this season and clutch this defense out. So now a very, very attainable goal for Pandora's Wrath to be able to control first point and then just push it just past the archery in order to confirm a 2-0 lead here in the console gaming league.
Yeah, Pandora's Wrath, as I said, they have the double DPS ult, the Death Blossom, the Blizzard. It's just such a deadly combination. You freeze the people, or even just zoning them off is enough. Then they're just put into a spot where they can't really leave. They get put in the back point. They either go into the hotel or right in front of the hotel, or they're out on the point. Either way, they're not on the payload itself. And the Death Blossom just comes in, wipes everyone that's left. No one's then able to get in. If they move back to where the point was captured, they now have to push back on to a Reaper, a Mei, without the Reinhardt, because the Reinhardt's in the back line, just nanoing and trying to get as much as he can. And you're not going to win that fight against the Mei Reaper combination here. Coming to this, we do see that Torbjorn, the off-meta heroes, come in. It's going to be very interesting.
It looks like the Mercy is going to be pocketing the Hanzo of Gorilla here. And the Torb turret of Red Phantom could be good in trying to zone off Raven, trying to be a little dishonest here in the backline. Now, early Maywall means that the go button has been pressed here. Their Immortality Field is first off, but Crimson is going to be the first one down here. So no main tank on the side of Pandora's Wrath, who do manage to secure one tick on the payload here. And given us how much time they have, Arcas, if they secure a tick every fight they come in for, they end up capping the point.
They could secure a tick every third fight, and they'd still have enough to get the point all the way through. Getting it that first tick, all Pandora, if they're just able to do that, they could just save their ults. They don't need to ult. They can save ults for the last fight. They have enough time to not only save their ults and take this point, but then save their ults again and take the final fight. So they're in a huge power position here, especially since they have the Mei, Lucio, the speed dictating the pace of play.
Well, then that rotate through the hotel. The Coalescence comes out, but the Earth Shatter is absolutely enormous. Combined with the Torbjorn Molten Core could be exactly what the Doctor ordered here for No Sympathy, as they are continuing to be able to hold on this time, not giving up any progress, Arcas.
Yeah, now they learned from mistake. They're not getting off point that time. Pandora's Wrath took a bit of an off angle there, went through hotel, didn't quite work for him. Sympathy now they use more ults, and now they have more ults. They did use the Valkyrie at the end of the fight, which maybe not needed. They might want that one back, but they're still going to have 3 ults coming in, while Pandora has none on the board. They're going to build up, once again, the double DPS ults. They're going to build up both their tank ults, and they're going to build up the sound barriers. So they will have the advantage the later this goes on. Probably going to save it in all reality if they're playing at the smartest they can. They're just going to go in, try and get whatever ults they can out, and then build those ults up and take it in the next fight.
So that early Dragon Strike and early Amp Matrix, I don't know if that found anybody, but they still managed to win in the vanilla mid fight. The Flux is committed here as well, and now Angel Boy just free swinging into the backline. 3 ultimates committed. They do win the fight, but I'm questioning how effective and necessary those ultimates were, Arcas. The Amp Matrix set up right as Pandora's Wrath rushed into that hotel room. The Dragon Strike came incredibly early, and the Flux came out after 2 picks were already online. They kind of put themselves at a bit of a deficit now, ult economy-wise.
They didn't just put themselves at a deficit. They put themselves in just a crater here. They couldn't really get anything they wanted out of the ults, and now it's just ult destruction.
The Shatter gets blocked as well. The Blizzard out into the backline could spell a lot of trouble. Guerrilla Gaming is the first one down. Zephyr finding a picks left and instead with the Blizzard as well. It looks like this point defense might just be over on the side of No Sympathy. Just like we said, Arcas, that crater was a little bit difficult to get out of.
Yeah, and now it's just a tad bit worse because Pandora's Wrath still have 4 ults. No Sympathy gonna come in with both their DPS ults. That's not going to be enough here. They're going to have to find something else. They need that first pick. They need the Mercy to build an ult.
Oh, super early Shatter is going to find 3. That's exactly what they needed here. Gorilla finding a kill, though, could be absolutely enormous. But on the other end of things, Raven and Zambi are going to be absolutely enormous. This is a little silly. I can't believe this is... Yep, this is... I don't think this is going to work. Now, a bit of a crazy stall coming out on point. By dying that late on point A, they ended up being split spawned. And so a lot of defending members of No Sympathy weren't able to get there on time, and Pandora's Wrath were just able to play a bit of a cleanup game. Right at the end, they're kind of a hairy melee going off on point there, but that's all they needed. That's all they needed. They won that fight 2 fights ago by baiting out all those ultimates, eventually losing that fight, but winning the rest of the map.
Yeah, it's a clinic in how to manage your ults. I say it a lot for teams that have a huge time bank. Just save all 6 of your ults, do a push, don't use anything, get the enemy team who are going to end up building 6 ults anyway to use 2, 3, 4 if you can ults, and then just come in with a heavy ult advantage, and you just wipe the floor. You just wipe the entire enemy team, and that's all you really need to do in a lot of these cases. And Pandora's Wrath do it to perfection. Chef kiss. Just such efficiency. It took them a while to build the ults, but once they get them, they use them, and they know how to. And that's all you could really ask for Pandora there. Just get them, have the enemy team use, especially it just use a fight early, use a fight out of position with the amplification matrix, and then use a fight after the fight's basically won. That's Pandora's best case scenario for No Sympathy's ults online. That just feeds into them building their ults already, just stockpiling them. And it's just everything just in this one perfect bomb. And it creates the crater that Sympathy just are unable to scratch and claw their way out of. Pandora's Wrath take the second map.
I think what hurt the most for me there was seeing how well No Sympathy were doing up to that point of that over ulting. Because when you have 4.5 minutes to defend that little of the map, you do have to play it to perfection. And if we're being honest, No Sympathy were pushing that pretty close. They were doing a really good job, like we said, managing the ults, getting those early picks. The one time that Pandora's Wrath looked like they had the upper ground here, they used the Lucio speed boost to go through the hotel, and No Sympathy rotated back towards statues so very well in order to match that energy. Even without a Lucio, the pathing and the reaction times there were absolutely stellar. And for them to then go down, partly because they over ulted, that breaks my heart a little bit, but that's how the cookie crumbles. And now Pandora's Wrath is now 2-0 up here in the Console Gaming League Tier 3 North American Grand Finals. We're going to go to a break real quick as teams are just going to get their mentals reset and pick out our third map. Stick around. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the Console Gaming League. We are bringing to you today the Console Gaming League Tier 3 North American Grand Final. So right now we have Pandora's Wrath 2-0 up against No Sympathy, the first seed facing off against the second seed here in the Grand Final. And so far, the first seed looking pretty comfortable, Arcas.
Yeah, they're extremely comfortable here. They won the first 2 maps, and they're looking to take all 4 in a row. They're looking to close this one out quick, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. No Sympathy have been playing, just able to wrangle Pandora a bit more each and every time. You saw the May run through them on the first time that Pandora attacked on King's Row. Then it didn't really work the second time. It's No Sympathy. They went 2-1. Now they went 4-3. This map could very easily be that tie. It could go in the 25th. This could be the tie. This could be the turning point for Sympathy here. They're coming in. They're able to just slowly whittle Pandora down. And I think that this could be the turning point.
Absolutely. Temple of Anubis is not only an incredible, difficult map to assault and attack, it's also, I mean, it could boom you. That's all I'm saying. It could boom you. Temple of Anubis booms me all the time. And, I'm the hard stuck plat, so who am I to say anything? And if No Sympathy were able to take that break that we just took just now and kind of sit together in a party, get their head together, get their minds right, and get their mental reset, they could be pushing Pandora's Wrath here. But right now, just No Sympathy in a little bit of trouble here as we jump in into Temple of Anubis. We're going to assume a lot of Junkrat play is going to come out. We know the DPS on the DPS side, Pandora's Wrath, Raven and Zephyria have on an absolute tear so far this series, and looks like they're both going to be staying in. So really looking forward to the damage that they'll be able to put out as well.
Yeah, this is going to come down to, like, will the 2 DPS of Pandora, who have been doing great this map, be able to really solidify their stay here? This is a great map for long range, short range, spam range DPS here. We're going to see the Echo and Widow come in from them. So it's going to be very, actually, it's going to be a bit of swap, so we're not exactly sure, but that Widow does seem to be locked in. And No Sympathy going to be running a very good defense here, running the bunker, running the double shield, the Orisa Sig, the Immortality Field, the Ashe long range, Junkrat spam damage. They're running a really good comp here. Is it going to be enough to take Pandora's comp out? It's a very, very weird comp. You have the Ana Lucio, the Hammond here, so there's going to be a lot of disruption coming in onto No Sympathy.
Yeah, and Red Phantom on the Junkrat is going to be the difference maker here. A very intelligent trapped late in the back, just waiting for the Wrecking Ball of Crimson to engage here. So it looks like Pandora's Wrath is just going to play it slow, as a Raven is going to get picked off nice and early, so that slow pacing isn't going to pay off, as we're still waiting for Crimson to get set up here in the backline. The Wrecking Ball comes through, and just kind of gets deleted there. Arcas, hey, listen, you just said No Sympathy is taking their time to whittle Pandora's Wrath down, and that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, you could see it throughout the first 2 maps, and it's coming here now, able to take that Hammond out, and the swap onto the Zarya now really takes that ult economy and puts it squarely in No Sympathy's favor for the moment, for the long game.
Zephyria here with the very aggressive dive into the backline to take the duel, not just against an Ashe, but a pocketed Ashe. I have some question marks around that. That is definitely going to be a good decision to VOD review to see how we got here. And that's just exactly what Pandora's Wrath needed. One pick every 30 seconds, you just whittle that time down in no time, Arcas.
Yeah, well, Pandora now, they tried something. They were gonna swap. They might as well try and get a pick out of it. They have made the swaps here. They're gonna try and go in, but
they can't get through this choke with all the spam coming in. Every time they come through, a pick is connected, and Red Phantom immediately, without hesitation, now jumping in with that Junkrat, getting so much damage done. So close to a Riptire as well. And Pandora's Wrath, you just kind of have to wait and eat the spam. As you can see, Red Phantom just kind of standing still and playing the nades off the angle. Now that they rotate to the low ground, Red Phantom is just going to be able to stay up here and rain down as much damage as possible. Alexis is going to the first one out, so that could be the opening that they needed. Angelo answering back, but eventually the MTD being exerted by Crimson. The Bob is now committed, as well as the Resurrection has been covered. Pure Chaos out on the point is going to be able to pay off for Red Phantom, as they're getting so many picks left, right, and center, and Supreme here on the Ashe is getting it done as well. After some very creative pathing from both sides and some chaos coming up, Pandora's Wrath looked really good, but No Sympathy were able to clutch it out, in part due to some really good DPS play, but we can't forget the combination of Icicle and Angel Boy here being able to help that Orisa set up and continue to get those long sight lines that Orisa wants.
Yeah, well, not only that, but just Sympathy have the ult advantage. Pandora's Wrath had to make a swap. They're going to be down in ult for a very long time, and it's now up to Sympathy to make sure they stay in the ult advantage.
Riptire comes out as well, and one ult and some primary fire to buy yourself another minute is going to be great economy here. Now, 60 seconds remaining. We have a Flux, some Bongos, an Amp Matrix, and a Valkyrie online here. Oh, and a stagger onto Zac the Turtle is going to be absolutely brutal. Things are looking pretty good here on the side of No Sympathy. They try to earn their first snap of the series. Very aggressive engage is going to come out, countered by the Flux. That Coalescence isn't going to get too much value for the time being. The Valkyrie is going to be forced out as well, as Quad is now set up ready to with that Amp Matrix as well. Raven onto that high ground, though uncontested for now, drops it onto the low ground. Now the Blossom is online. Diva Bomb committed here by Zac the Turtle, and finding Alexis. Both the tank line, the entire tank line is gone, but Red Phantom now on the jump pad with the triple kill. The Amp Matrix comes out as well, and Quad is now free firing onto those tanks, and Supreme able to clean it up. I don't believe it. Red Phantom with 4 kills in that one fight to clutch it out when it looked almost impossible. Less than 10 seconds remaining now, and No Sympathy are going to be able to hold on. Can anybody from Pandora's Wrath touch? Yes, we can. Lunar Lily is going to come and slam down that sound barrier and do their best at a last-ditch attempt to try to contest as the Tracer of Raven comes in as well. Not rolling through. Crimson on the ball could be absolutely enormous, and the Amp Matrix, the Immortality is going to be used. Alexis, once again, is going to be the first casualty of this fight, and now Angel Boy is not going to be a little overwhelmed with all of this attention left, right, and center. Oh, triple kill with the Riptire. Zach getting DMAC'd as well. Red Phantom is Fleta deadlifting right in front of her eyes, DMACing and then finishing Zach the Turtle off, finally going to the Zambi. That might just be enough, but Supreme getting knocked out means that Pandora's Wrath, after my blood pressure spiking, are finally going to be able to lock this point down and continue with their attack.
That is the closest No Sympathy have gotten to taking out Pandora's Wrath from just taking just stopping from getting any points. And that was so close. It came down to just the last two people on point. And the Moira was 1 health, so that could have gone either way there. It really came down to split second just differences of when ults were made. You're gonna see a lot of swaps coming in here from Pandora's side. Gonna get the Somber. That's gonna be they're gonna go back to the Reaper. Well, they're making swaps, so now their ult economy is reset. Both sides kind of have a reset ult economy for the most part. Sympathy do have a bit more of a stable ult economy with 2 ults coming in.
Now, Zephyr eating a skill orb to the face could just spell disaster, and Pandora's Wrath are just trying to buy a little bit of time. They're going to continue to engage with this attack here, and Raven getting caught up in the trap isn't going to help either. The big purple coming out onto Crimson, the anti means that Reinhardt's not going to get any of the help they need, but they do bait out the Coalescence on the side of Zambi, just the safety cleanup here. Once again, an ultimate, along with the Diva Bomb, 2 ultimates that, in my opinion, I don't think were horribly necessary, but it's 2 CP, so you just have to be able to get it done. After losing Zephyr early on, they somehow managed to come back, and oh no, nobody touches. Arc has to complete the attack. No Sympathy had such a good defensive display going and just kind of fall over when it comes to point B. I'm not quite sure what we saw there, Arcas.
Yeah,
looks like the
Sympathy.
I think the Bob was committed and then ended up not touching as well. I'm gonna need some help, Arcas.
Yeah, that was just super weird there. Sympathy had ults. Pandora's Wrath were just able to ult faster. And when you do that, you're just kind of hoping to get 2 ticks there, maybe get the 3rd if you can. But Sympathy were going to come back in with the ults. They were fine. They were going to be winning that fight. Pandora's Wrath had nothing to answer the ults coming in from Sympathy. I believe Bongo and the Bob, but there's no one able to get on the point. Bob just off the point there. You can see at the left, it was just that back left of the point. Just unable to get onto the point. No one touches the point. And Pandora's Wrath just able to steal one in just in an amazing way. Just able to get it, avoiding what most likely would have been No Sympathy holding that point. Just able to eke it by, and now Sympathy gonna have to try and match that.
Yeah, kind of a wild holder on point A, leading to a complete crumble on point B. A lot of times on 2 CP, you do see the opposite happening. And now No Sympathy have quite the task on their hands. They're going to be running the double bubble composition, a personal favorite of mine. So Angel Boy and Alexis are really going to be testing their synergy out. I'm sure this is something that they practice loads and loads of times in scrims. And something good about this is that you are able to dodge a lot of that Junkrat spam as well with these engagements.
Yeah, well, it's a very off comp here. You don't usually see this on Temple of Anubis, and that's...
Oh no. Angel Boy is going to jump in and just going to get shot out of the air. That spam damage is just too much here. And in my opinion, it looks like they took a little bit too long to get that engagement going. Angel Boy and Alexis just taking a lot of damage here on that high ground. In the choke, just trying to get set up. I don't know if they were waiting for cooldowns, to have some healing to come in, but eventually it did end up costing them that push and Angel Boy's life. So another engagement comes out, a lock is into the face, and both the bubbles are forced out. The bubble timing here is absolutely crucial. You have to bubble your Winston as they're engaging to make sure they don't get CC'd. And it looks like that didn't happen, and once Angel got rocked, the Winston bubble and the Zarya bubble were both deployed at the same time, which is exactly the opposite of what you need when you run this composition. So curious to see if the timing gets cleaned up a little bit, but a really good dive now onto the backline makes Lunar Lily is now in a little bit of trouble, and the Ashe as well is going to, Raven is going to have to back up. Alexis is going to get taken down, so just one tank on board for Angel Boy as the Valkyrie is now committed. Red Phantom to cut down Raven eventually, as the Echo is now kind of letting rip and reigning supreme in the air here.
Yeah, at this point, there's too many ults from Pandora's Wrath, it seems like. Just took two, Sympathy just couldn't get the fight quick enough, and the ults online, nothing really Sympathy could do. They had to wait that first fight for the Tracer to get into position, just couldn't get in position in time. Winston dives in, that's just the instant death, and that just sets Pandora up for almost 2 minutes there to just build up any ult that they need to take the incoming fight.
You know, it looks like they're going to be able to set up now the Ryan Sigma double shield is slowly becoming meta again alongside the Ryan Orisa, using the Orisa as an off tank. And it looks like No Sympathy are going to stick with their double bubble tank line here. Angel Boy eating yet another rock to the face. And now the Flux is going to be committed, finding two up in the air. And Quad is just going to get deleted as Alexis, courtesy of a pin from Zack the Turtle. The Primal Rage is not going to be committed by Angel, but who now stuck in a trap, and that's 1,000 HP being fed over in the form of ult charge towards defending Pandora's Wrath here. I'm not very sure how I feel about the usage of that ultimate, but Angel Boy is going to end up switching over onto that Reinhardt now.
Yeah, the swap there onto just another tank was clear a mile away there. You use the ult, you already have two down, you're just gonna use it for the swap there. This is a swap that needs to happen. They haven't been able to do anything with the double bubble dive composition, so now they're gonna go in. They are ults down, and so they're gonna need to do something to build up ults, maybe bait them out. We'll see.
Ooh, Red Phantom and the Echo are getting a little bit too close for comfort, but is able to stay alive for the time being. Both the supports are burning, but it looks like a safe path up to the high ground does exist for No Sympathy, and they are now able to set up despite the Junkrat's best effort here on Zephyr to try to lock them down. Now, picks are being swapped here, left and right. Phantom is going to go down, but as is Raven, both teams missing a DPS. Shadow comes out, finding Quad, and the pin is going to connect as well, but the purple lands as the pin is going to come out, and Zack eventually does get deleted because of support, and the healing wasn't able to connect due to the effects of that anti-nade. Zephyr on fire here is just going to be a quick cleanup, and No Sympathy, just like Pandora's Wrath in OT, are going to be able to lock this down.
Yeah, No Sympathy. Right now they have the point. There's no one there. That's their point taken. Unless some freak stall comes in. Just able to get in there. The ults weren't from the DPS side of Pandora. They hit the Riptide, didn't get anything from it. Their Ashe went down before they could use the Bob, got rezzed, went down before they could use the Bob a second time. It's not what you want to see. They're just unable to really have any answers to the Nano on the Ryan on the point. Just the general point presence of No Sympathy here, and now both teams gonna run into this with ults, and it's gonna go to No Sympathy if every ult used. They have a heavy ult advantage coming in here.
Raven is going to be the first one down here, so the Resurrection is no longer going to be available for the remainder of this fight. Grab is going to come through, and with an average to push through, though I don't know how that grab is going to be super effective. Now the Echo duplication comes up onto the Reinhardt, but I don't believe Red Phantom was able to hold that Earth Shatter out, but it worries not because Angel Boy is there. Zephyr now with that tire, not nearly as big as it needs to be, unfortunately, as effective as that was, as Alexis is going to get res as well. More numbers on point here. Raven's Bob here getting demolished as well. The Ball of Crimson rolling through, but it's just, once again, just ult charge over, but not before they take down quads, though. So it is still very much winnable. The one pick could just be what they needed here to start this off, as Alexis goes down as well. One tick online for No Sympathy, but they are now forced to back out to spawn and to come up with a new plan.
For that, you could tell there was such good focus fire on each target. It was just one, just each of them is getting knocked down. This great focus fire. Whoever the shot or the kill caller is there, great work on the side of Pandora's Wrath. Just so coordinated on just who do we need to take out. You need to get one pick after another. You have the pick, you have the respawn advantage. You just need to get one, and you just parlay that. Coming into this, it's going to be equal ult, but the longer this goes on, the more it favors Pandora's Wrath. if this goes to another fight here, it would swap into No Sympathy's advantage if they play this right.
Or so that it comes out, not able to find anybody, and now Angel Boy is going to be nanoed. Pinning in here is going to get caught out, but now the Rhine 1v1 could be a little bit of trouble, but the Immortality Field is not committed. The P everybody else as well. And oh no, that's a big Bionade coming out onto the tank line. Pandora's Wrath here without too much healing available, but it doesn't really matter. It looks like they are going to be able to hold on. The healing eventually does come through. Alexis and Quads are both going to go down, and it looks like a hasty retreat for No Sympathy as they gear up for this final fight leading into overtime, Marcas.
Yeah, Sympathy, they tried a really bold tactic there. They tried to go in with the nano. I don't think they were trying to win that. I think they were just trying to get ult out, and Pandora used nothing there. They used nothing. They knew one ult wasn't enough to take anything there, so they just don't use ults, and now the ult is just, it's gonna be an almost even ult fight here. Pandora, they're gonna have the respawn advantage. They're gonna have one extra ult on top of Sympathy, so it's gonna be a very interesting fight. Sympathy coming from underneath.
Well, Quads once again is going to be the first one down and coming into last fight territory. That's the last thing you want. Angel Boy being taken down as well as Zavir with an enormous tire onto Alexis. The Bob unable to find anybody, and Raven with a kill on the Deadeye. The focus target, the focus calling is so good. They're just able to go down one by one, and Raven is just like, forget it. I'm just gonna kill everybody by myself here. Really, really good work from Pandora's Wrath, and they are going to secure this map. Take us to 3-0 now here in the Console Gaming League, meaning this next map is a championship deciding map, Marcas.
Yeah, well, every map from here on is point match. This could be it right here. We saw Sympathy almost able to hold the first point there. So going into his next few maps, it's going to be interesting to see what they can get going forward. They might be able to take some maps off Pandora's Wrath. If Pandora's Wrath can just hold out for just one more map, they take the finals here. They take the Tier 3 NA Championship. So we're going to see if Pandora can hold on to this, if Sympathy can finally find just the chip away and finally find that underneath to really get that decisive blow and start working down the giant. And an escort map could be the map to do it.
It's really tough because this isn't what anybody really expected. When you have the first and second seed coming into the grand finals, you're hoping for a big, you're not expecting a big blowout, and so far it's 3-0. It's 4 championship maps in a row for Pandora's Wrath here. They're going to have to drop some serious amounts of spaghetti if they end up losing this. No Sympathy now, like you said, yes, this could be the start of something amazing, start of a series and a championship that they will remember for the rest of their lives. But the pessimist in me just doesn't really see how we end up getting there, because Pandora's Wrath, No Sympathy set themselves up with these good defenses, but we saw in King's Row last and now on Temple of Anubis that they beat themselves. The inability to set up there on point B and just kind of fall over, despite Pandora's Wrath losing Zephyr very early there, and No Sympathy doing that. Just, I don't know. The showman and the optimist in me, and of course the commentator in me, would love for No Sympathy to rally back and to do something crazy. But the pessimist in me doesn't really see a way forward in that direction, unfortunately.
Well, no, I mean, if you just look at the odds here, you go down 3 maps. At that point, people were saying, well, you just need to lose one more, a coin flip. You need to win 4 coin flips in a row. That is extremely hard to do. You can test that out right now. Get a coin. Can you get heads 4 times in a row? If you can, I don't think you did. It's very
bold of
hard
you
to
to
do.
assume any of our Zoomer friends in chat have coins. Hello and welcome back to the Console Gaming League. We are now jumping into Rialto here in the CGL Fall 2020 multi-tier grand finals for our North American Tier 3 League. Pandora's Wrath and No Sympathy face off as our first and second seed coming into our playoffs, and Pandora's Wrath here asserting first seed dominance, 3-0 up in a 1-4 series. Arcas, this is the championship point at hand.
Yeah, this could very well be it. This could be the last 20 minutes we have here, or it could be the beginning of the last hour. No Sympathy could very easily take this back and send it to a map 4, or this would be map 4. I'm bad at counting. I didn't fail math, almost did. Map 5, they can send it to a map 5, map 6, map 7, maybe even a map 8 if there's a tie in there. There won't be a tie on this map, but it could very easily go very, very deep. We've seen Sympathy, No Sympathy. They've just been steadily working their way, chipping away at the giant, and this could be the decisive blow. They might have gotten through the armor. We saw it most potently on Temple of Anubis, that first point defense. We saw the cracks in Pandora Wrath's armor there, and the Sympathy are just able to just replicate that in some way. They could really bring this back, deal a decisive blow, and then start the momentum back in their favor, snowballing it and getting all the way to the end. And Rialto is a great map to start that on.
Yeah, I agree. And No Sympathy have looked pretty good at times here, but a lot of times it just feels like they're their own worst enemy. And they just clear up some of the over ulting, they clear up some of the over eagerness to like really just go super aggressive. There are good things here for this team. This is obviously a good team. They're the second seed. They sweep the semis 3-1. They're here for a reason. And they just need to bring the quality that we know they can. And now we head into Rialto. Speaking of quality, big sniper map, Hanzo's, Widows, Ashes, McCree's, Reigns Supreme here, Roadhogs and Lucio's with the boops, Oresis with the pull, as now we zoom into this lovely little gondola. This could be a place for No Sympathy to pop off here.
Yeah, as you said, we're going to see double Widows, or at least for the moment, both teams have the Widow selected. And the Torbjorn, so we're going to see off meta here coming from No Sympathy once again. They're going to be running a Zen, an Ana, Widow Torbjorn. That is something I have not seen in a very long time. That is so off meta. And that's what they need to. We've seen them run off meta with double fly, double shield, and it worked. We've seen them run off meta with double bubble composition, and it not work. So it's going to be very interesting to see if this off meta composition will work against Pandora.
And we do see a ball echo roll out onto the back line, so that turret is going to be very quickly chucked into the recycling bin, as Quad is going to get a kill onto Zephyria here, though. So a really good start on the side of No Sympathy. That early pick, exactly what they needed here. The Widowmaker is just playing really safe with their teams right now, not taking too many aggressive angles, and the roll through by Crimson isn't actually going to be able to displace anybody, and eventually ends up taking a lot of damage, but the Ana heals are there to help them out.
Yeah, this is just a very slow tempoed fight to start it off. Very slow on the payload, but there is still a lot of action going off on the side. This is not just, it's very slow on the main, and all the action is dispersed on the outside.
Well, Gorilla taking down Raven is going to open up a whole host of different sight lines here, but the resurrection is there with the damage is done. Gorilla is going to take down Crimson. Raven getting chunked down solo yet again. That Mercy pocket is absolutely necessary, and the more damage Raven takes, the more time that Mercy has to spend there, the less time Zephyria on the Echo is getting that immense amount of damage being boosted. So really good from Gorilla here. Look at the difference between the ult charges of the two Widowmakers. Zephyria is forced to switch off as the threat of Gorilla Gaming alongside the turret of Red Phantom is too much for them to deal with. The nano boost, though, is in line for Einstein, ready to go onto, I assume, Angel Boy here. And Quad not horribly far from a Transcendence either.
Yeah, no. Sympathy have a huge ult advantage here. They don't have the ult advantage, but they have the ult economy advantage, especially with Pandora having the swaps come through. And speaking of the ults,
Nano Boost is not going to commit it, as is the healing amp of the anti-nade. Angel Boy now swinging away here, but their backline is in a little bit of trouble. The Sigma and Zen of Quad and Alexis are just forced to back up here, but no worries. The tank line is able to hold strong. The Torb of Red Phantom pulling through as well, and it does look like No Sympathy are going to be able to continue to hold on for the time being.
yeah, No Sympathy. The longer that fight went, the better it had for them. They built up the ults, and they actually didn't need to use the ults. They used the nano to sustain through 2 ults there. That is extremely effective use. Now they do swap on to the Pharah. They swap off their DPS, and they have a heavy ult advantage coming in for not this fight, but the next fight, and possibly 3 fights.
Yeah, this is going to be tough here. It looks like Pandora's Wrath do not have any ultimates going for them, and Gorilla Gaming now over onto that far is just going to rain down so much damage here as they all gripped up so tightly. Those one clip of Far rockets actually ended up Gorilla Gaming with 30% of their ultimate. Now the flux onto the flux down into the Torbjorn Molten Core is going to be absolutely enormous. And okay, Arcas, I hate to keep repeating myself, but that's the quad came out with the Transcendence when the fight was already won. For the third, fourth map in a row, we're seeing No Sympathy get themselves in a good situation and then begin to over ult at fights that have already been won, and that eventually adds up to map losses.
Yeah, well, they still have ults in the bank. It's gonna be 2-2 here once the Pharah builds up the ult, and that will come very, very quickly.
All right, Blizzard comes out, catches 2. Like I said, a Transcendence would have been great here, but it looks like Pandora's Wrath have just blasted the point wide open. And the Guerrilla Gaming is going to fall last to that Coalescence. And it looks like Red Phantom is going to barely make it out alive as well. So no awful staggers coming through. No Sympathy are still able to... I mean, it wasn't the worst time back on point A defense. I'd say they actually did very well there, but... if a couple things that went differently, the potential for a full hold was definitely there. But they now do begin the defense through Street's phase of Rialto.
Yeah, they did an amazing job there. They almost got it to overtime, and one just not using that Transcendence is probably what did them in.
And Gorilla now with a very aggressive and risky barrage is going to be taken up by Zephyr as well. I don't know. Yep, the switch is going to come through as we now are going to see a Hanzo enter the melee.
Yeah, the switch comes through. You kind of need to do... Yes, there's a composition. You can't really run it against a Soldier, Moira, Diva. You can't run it on second point. There's just not enough room, and especially not enough room on third. And we're just going to see the
Angel
ults
Boy
come
being
in.
caught alone point here. I just want to highlight a really good piece of play here. Angel Boy was playing really safe with their team, and Lunar Lily went for a crazy dive into the back to boop the Rhine forward. And as soon as the boop come through, Zephyr threw up a Made Wall, and it was all over then. So Quad and Gorilla are both going to go down. The Streets phase fights are really, really tough, and it doesn't look like anything is going to come of it. Angel Boy is going to be nanoed, but that might just be a wasted up, but it does force out the Earth Shatter here on the side of Crimson, who eats a purple to the face as well. The anti-nade is going to prevent too much aggression from coming out, but they do capture the point as No Sympathy are now forced to hold on here right by their spawn.
Yeah, No Sympathy, they're just kind of... They haven't really gotten a single fight in. They've done fights, but it hasn't really seemed coordinated. It hasn't seemed like they've... Like, this is the fight that we want to take. They're taking this. It's very trickle, it feels like. Now they've set a nice reset, and this should be that big ult fight No Sympathy want to take.
All right, Diva Bomb comes into the backline. The Transcendence is there, but Einstein is just going to take too much burst damage for that Transcendence to be worth anything. Red Phantom taking down Zambi is going to be absolutely enormous as they try to hold on here now. Both teams missing a support. Oh, forget that. Scratch that. Pandora with no healing on board now, and No Sympathy are finally going to be able to get a foothold on the payload and stop its progress.
Yeah, that's that foothold that they sorely needed. They weren't able to get it on the second point. They got it on the third, much in part due to they're just able to sustain through the fight with the Transcendence, even though they lost the Mercy. And now they're gonna have 3-4 ults to combat Pandora's 3, maybe 4 if the Moira gets it, but it's definitely gonna be 3 here. It's gonna be 3-3 with the Mercy building it up. That Mercy valve is gonna be a deciding factor as we get one swap from each side.
I mean, the Mercy Valk is a surprisingly efficient counter to the Blizzard because the Maze, you're going to be able to dodge a lot of the damage. Earth Shatter coming out, not going to find anybody as the Flux here finding 2. The Sound Barrier is there. A really good fade from Zambi to get out of trouble as well as enormous. The Deadeye is going to come out, not finding anybody as Angel Boy now swinging away with the hammer on that front line. Now forced to play behind the car. Lunar Lily with another really aggressive boop here and eventually is going to get punished for their sins. Is going to get flashbanged and then the hammer, I believe, get them in for. And so it does look like No Sympathy still looking pretty healthy here, Arcast. No over-ulting, some intelligent plays, just hoping that they can keep this up for the sake of their survival in this series and this championship.
Yeah, well, if you actually saw that, the Blizzard came through, and the Graviton, or like the Sigma ult, was the counter to the Blizzard. The Blizzard lost in the last fight, now they counter with another ult. That's them learning through the game, and they're going to have the ult advantage here. Pandora might have it for the last fight, but this fight goes on. It will favor Pandora, but there's a sweet spot that Sympathy can take this fight with the ults and not have it overtime.
Oh, well, speaking of sweet spots, Crimson is just going to eat an Earth Shatter to the face, and that's the go button being pressed for No Sympathy. Once again, no ultimates. That's here, and they do stick to that principle. The ult ban continues to look extremely impressive for No Sympathy for the time being. 10 seconds remaining. I don't think anybody can touch here as the Torvald is going to be committed. Lulu Nilly just on fire as they're trying to get their way in. 3 seconds. We have a Ryan pinning him, but I don't think Crimson can touch either. Didai is there to take them out. When No Sympathy are able to have good ultimate discipline, they defend, they hold the point, and they win fights. Arcast, this is a good team with a lot of potential, and you can tell that in that halftime, they banged their heads together and decided, yo, what if we stopped all hitting triangle in unison? And some mistakes here and there, but point C, it looked extremely clean, Arcast.
Yeah, that was an extreme. They were able to take the fight when they wanted. They finally dictated the pace of play. They were able to counter the Blizzard the fight before with their own ult. They learned from their mistakes. They came in, pushed forward, once again dictating the pace of play and making sure no one get on the point. Just learning from their play, not just from previous games, but from the game they're in itself. That is such a rare quality of a team, and that could be what gets them through this map. This is the first time Pandora has not captured a point. Like, not gone all the way through. Lijiang Tower, you're able to capture a point that's going all the way through. The King's Row, they captured third. On the 2CP, they captured second. They captured Temple. This is the first time Pandora not coming in with a guaranteed another fight here. Sympathy could close this out right here. This is the closest No Sympathy have came to winning a map, and it's by taking Pandora out of a safe position. This is high jeopardy right now, and this is gonna be something special.
Looks like it might be a bit of a spawn camp coming out here on the side of Pandora's Wrath. They drop immediately on point. A melee breaks up right by the spawn doors, and the early immortality field is going to be forced out. Guerrilla Gaming is going to take down Zambi to pick this off. Pandora's Wrath look like they have the upper hand here, finding the picks left, right, and center. Red Phantom dropping down to the low ground straight into those Reaper shotguns as well. Could be tough. Guerrilla Gaming eventually being punished here, but not before they get 2 picks. This is really, really good working for Pandora's Wrath with that early spawn camp.
Yeah, the early spawn camp, it allows you, there's so many benefits to it. Even if you do lose, you have more fights. It's almost like you're just able to hold once again. It's going to be harder to hold because it's going to be just a bit farther, like 5 meters, and you're just going to come back. But you can still have the same amount of fights, and it gives you so much ult charge. If you lose, you're still down in ult charge, but by the end, everyone will have their ults. It's going to be one huge ult fight. It's going to be even. And coming into this, if you win that fight, you're going to have more ult, a higher ult charge, and that's what we're going to see.
Oh, well, speaking of ultimates, the Shatter is going to come out, and the zoning Dragon Strike is going to be there as well. Really good work from Angel Boy, taking a very decisive pin over onto Crimson. It looked very risky at the time, but as soon as Crimson failed, Angel Boy whipped around with that Earth Shatter, finding 3 on the ground, and Guerrilla Gaming with the Dragon Strike just to celebrate. No Sympathy have pushed this point wide open. I don't think a recontest can come through before we hit point B, but crazier things have happened here in the console gaming league. Oh my goodness, that's absolutely enormous. That window just has everybody straight up deleted here, and that one ultimate should be enough for them to clean up. That is definitely, listen, I've harped on about ultimate efficiency, and I've yelled at No Sympathy all evening, but that was gorgeous, glorious play. That's exactly what you need. They want to contest, take my one ultimate, will kill all 6 of you, plus now you get bad spawns. That's really, really good efficiency for No Sympathy. And like you said, this is a team that's improving and learning as the series is going on, which is such a rare quality. That kind of adaptability could be what gives them that clutch factor in these big championship moments. And they have 4.5 minutes to push through streets now.
Yeah, it is just such an impressive play here. We saw the Blizzard actually from Pandora get just not, it was used, but it's not there anymore. It's going to be a big ult fight coming.
Even though I'm coming out just to get caught out onto that high ground, Angel Boy taking a lot of damage as the Torvald is coming to the Molten Cores all over the ground here. Angel Boy is going to go down eventually. Pandora's Wrath looking pretty healthier. No Sympathy in a bit of trouble. The Valkyrie is going to be committed, but Red Phantom, Gorilla, and Quad are all 3 of them going to go down. It's just the lonely Alexis on point, but not for long, as the Stagger is not going to come out on poor little Icicle as well. Really, really good hold here on the side of Pandora's Wrath. There was a bit of disconnect. Looked like Red Phantom put down the Molten Core a little bit prematurely. Not quite sure what happened there, but some big ultimates online for both sides now.
Yeah, well, what they want to do with the Torbjorn ult is they wanted to combo the ult, and they just weren't able to. The counter ults came through, and they just weren't able to get anything from the ult, but they're already sunk in. And now we're going to come into Pandora having the ult advantage at the moment.
It looks like a very aggressive push here is going to come out. The Flux is going to find 3. Some of them escape abilities, but all of them have that sound barrier. Lunar Lily doing really well to press triangle just in time, but Raven is going to be the first one down. And now, No Sympathy are committing to this attack. The Dragon Strike is out as well, but like I said, not quite sure if that's necessary. They're already 3 up, I believe. Just clean up the card and the ball will start moving, and it's just the Rhine Moira of Crimson and Zambi getting out here, both with their ultimates intact. Zack the Turtle is now going to switch over to the Zarya here to kind of help brawl the frontline solidity of Alexis and Angel Boy on that Rhine Sigma. Earthshatter comes out, I believe that was blocked, not finding anybody here. Stepping into the lava is never a good idea, but the Blizzard here could be absolutely enormous, and I think Pandora's Wrath have somehow managed to turn this around. Red Phantom left alone on point, but not for long, as the rest of their teammates are now retreating back towards their spawn doors.
Yeah, that was a really good 2 fights there. Sympathy, they, as much as the dragons wasn't needed that much, I'm fine with them using the dragons there. I know you probably didn't like it, but they got the Reaper as the Reaper ulted, and then used the dragon same time to use the Shatter about. So it's an attempt to combo the ult. And it was actually, the picks weren't through by the time the triangle was pressed, but after the ult landed, then the ult, like the picks came through as it happened. Coming in this fight, Sympathy have a huge ult advantage. Pandora is nowhere near any of the ults. At 60 at best. Sympathy have a 90, a 75, a 60, a 60, and 2 ults already in. This is their fight to take.
And Raven comes in super aggressively and gets deleted here. They use both support ultimates here, and once again, I'm hoping they don't use any more because it's just Zack the Turtle left on point here, and they do get cut down. Another really, really good amplification matrix coming out from Quads here, as that was just perfectly set up to make sure Pandora's Wrath got absolutely deleted. Ooh, a Maywall here is just going to separate Red Phantom. So Pandora's Wrath are actually 6 on 5 right now. They are 1 up, as the walk back from spawn is a little brutal here, but the resurrection is there. The Molten Core is online along with the Flux. That with the cleanup potential of a Shattered Dragon, things are looking on the up and up for No Sympathy to capture this point and take this map.
Yeah, No Sympathy. They could take it right here with another pick. They have the ult. They ult first. They take this here in almost every single scenario.
They use the Coalescence. The Dragon Strike comes out. Nobody going down quite yet, but eventually the picks are trying to come through left, right, and center. We have Zephyria now coming back onto the Mage, trying to touch right at the end here. Eventually, Isger's going to find themselves in the Molten Core. No Sympathy might just be able to do it. It was a championship point, but they are fighting back, refusing to go down, refusing to get swept. The reverse sweep starts now, baby. The Earthshatter comes through as much as to deny the touch. Can anybody else? No. No Sympathy take the map. It is now 1-3 here in the Console Gaming League. The series and the reverse sweep is well and alive, Arcast. This is amazing.
Well, I said it. This is Sympathy wearing them down. They found the chink in the armor. They finally found it. They got the decisive blow. And this is them. Now, coming back, they've cleaned up a bunch of their mistakes. They're learning from the mistakes. You can see it. Just, if you watch the last map and you watch the first map, you're going to think it's out of order. If you watch it the last one first and the first one last, you're going to think that the team is just getting worse. But because you can just see what they fixed, you can just see that they're learning. You can see that they're picking up from just the play. They lose to it. They lose to the Blizzard without the Transcendence. They use the Graviton or the Sigma ult. I think it's called Graviton Flux. I'm not exactly sure though. The Sigma ult to counter the Blizzard. It's just small plays like that, and that's just in that map. We've seen it throughout the series. Now No Sympathy coming back. They're gonna start their play for the reverse sweep. This championship or the finals championship here is still well and truly wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. No Sympathy here, just like you said, very clearly learning from their mistakes. And that's the key to any good team, being able to go into that halftime dressing room, bang their heads together, figure something out. Once the over-ulting stopped, No Sympathy looked so very clean. A big shout out to Quads. I ragged on them for a little bit for those fat finger transcendences, but then came back and proved me wrong with some enormous amplification matrix. Pandora's Wrath 3, No Sympathy 1. We're going to cut to a quick break. Stick around. This is going to be a banger. Hello and welcome back to the Console Gaming League. We are in the middle of our Tier 3 North American Grand Final. For the second map in a row, and maybe for a lot more to come, we are headed to a championship point as Pandora's Wrath lead No Sympathy 3-1. Pandora's Wrath looking really comfortable all through the series, and No Sympathy kind of beating themselves with some mistakes left, right, and center, but eventually cleaning up their act and playing a really, really good attack on Rialto here, and eventually now starting what could be the beginning of a reverse sweep. I don't want to jinx anything, Arcas, but we might just have an absolute cracker of a series on our hands.
Yeah, this you could see it. I said at the end of the second map that No Sympathy just slowly getting there, slowly chipping away at the armor, and they found the weakness. They were able to get the map. It's a steady build, it's a slow build, it's a long build, but the payoff is here. Sympathy won the do or die. Last map was a championship map. This map's a championship map. The next maps, however many there are, if there are any more, are championship maps. This is the big point here. This is Sympathy. It's all or nothing at this point. It's do or die. They have to win every single time, best they can, and they have learned throughout the series, and they have what it takes. They can learn on the fly, and it's just a matter of will they beat themselves or will they be able to get through that, be able to just learn whatever they need to do in the middle of the match, and then take Pandora out, or will Pandora just be able to keep just a bit more on their toes, throw a few more curveballs, play at just another level, and seal the deal right here?
Yeah, No Sympathy clearly having no problems being asked to clutch things out, and that's exactly what a grand final is, right? That those are the clutch moments. That's when your big players and big personalities come to life. And as a commentator, this is one of my favorite things to do, is to be on air in front of a camera trying to bring you a championship game. So like we said, Pandora's Wrath 3, No Sympathy 1, a championship is on the line. No Sympathy are going to have to pull up some pretty crazy things and some crazy consistent high levels of gameplay in order for them to get anywhere close to this championship, given the 3-0 deficit they did start off with. We now head into Busan, another control map here. Once again, well, for the first time, it is actually going to be Pandora Wrath's map pick.
Yeah, this is something unusual for Pandora here. They haven't done any picks for I'm not even sure at all. I don't know if they've picked at all. So now they're actually like, okay, now we get to do what we want on a map that we want. They might have wanted to do a map that they were able to play like King's Row, but this is gonna be the first map that they actually are set. Like, we get to play now. We get to pick what we want to do. And you can see that they're coming in with their normal composition, their ace composition here, simply running once again an off-meta composition.
And off meta is exactly what we've seen work for them. Crimson here taking a lot of frontline damage. And oh, the Bionade is absolutely enormous. And notice them, they do press that advantage. Not getting any picks, but do get point control, forcing Pandora's Wrath to very, very carefully rotate back. Zambi looks like they're low on heals, and Zack and Crimson are both extremely low, but no Mora juice is going to be a problem for now. And as they regroup, notice them, but they do stake their claim on the map. Shield's healthy, health pools are full. And now the Brawl comes in, and Crimson finding two. That's Lucio diff right there, baby. The speed boost helping Pandora's Wrath engage so extremely aggressively was all that they needed there.
Yeah, that's just split seconds there of Pandora just able to get the ults and just the Lucio speed boost in, just able to get them. And this is what we've seen this before. The Mei, the Lucio versus no Lucio. You get to dictate the pace of play. And this could be what Pandora, this could be the golden key for Pandora here. Just to keep No Sympathy locked inside that box, just unable to move. A wall, a shield, just pincer them in, close the box, and we'll see it happen here. Sympathy are gonna have the ult advantage since Pandora did ult there, so could go either way this next few fights.
All right, No Sympathy coming over onto the sightline, trying to play a situation where they get a little more of a high ground and longer sightlines. Now the box has been opened, and inside, oh, we find our ultimates. The Earthshatter comes out, Zambi going down immediately. Raven already down from earlier. The Flux was committed, as was the Coalescence, I believe. Now Red Phantom, hopefully, please do not commit the Molten Core here, but really, really good work from No Sympathy, decisively pressing triangle. And I think honestly, for the first time this series, I think every single one of those was absolutely necessary. No Sympathy look a completely different team than the one that lost the first three maps.
Yeah, they're finally able to. They out-ulted. They finally dictated the pace of the play of that fight. Usually, every time they've been on the back foot, this time they were on the front foot against.
Oh, Molten Core committed is an absolutely gorgeous sight to see. Zephyr is going to go down, but Crimson with an extremely aggressive flank shatter here is going to end up picking off a couple as well. So a crazy brawl is going to come out. The nano boost of Sigma doing everything they can to stay alive, eventually eating a rock to the face. The coalescence of Zambi was so important there, and it does look like the point now switches back over towards Pandora's Wrath, and some pretty big ultimates coming in line from both sides here, Arcas.
Yeah, Pandora just out-ulted, out-sustained there. Both support ults. That's enough to get you through the fight. Coming in this next fight, Sympathy have it. Well, Pandora's gonna have their ult combination, the double DPS. It's gonna be huge. It's been huge every time. Sympathy gonna come in with just about every other ult, from the DPS and the tanks, possibly even the Moira we might see.
Oh, Crimson is going to get antied here, and in combination with that Blossom, they are going to go down, but Raven answers one of their own. Raven and Zephyria have been such good DPS players so far this series, and the performances absolutely have been so eye-popping and eye-catching, and now it's last fight territory, Arcas.
Yeah, it may be last fight, but I don't think it's gonna be the last fight here. No Sympathy, as long as they're able to get on the point, they have the ults here. They can ult first, they can ult quick, and that's what we're seeing.
All right, Angel Boy coming over onto that high ground now, forcing Wrath to kind of wrap around as well. The Flux committed. I don't think that found anybody except for Crimson, but that could be enough. The counter Flux is there as well. Zach the Turtle is going to slam Angel Boy down, who doesn't have any supports with them, but the shield still looks pretty healthy until Iso can get here. Now, the Earth Shatter was never able to be committed. Oh no, Zamber with the double kill. With the coalescence, things are looking very good for Pandora's Wrath, who did give up point control, but eventually do flip it back in their favor. Overtime starts to tick down now, and it looks like quads might be the only bit they can touch. Oh my goodness! They get there just in time. Those are Lucio mechanics for you, baby. The Tracer now being able to juggle the points just a little bit longer. The Shatter comes out, finding 4, but that's too little too late. Nobody can touch here, and Pandora's Wrath are now 1 point away from taking home the championship, Arcas.
Yeah, and that is the middle map there. The city is the middle map. That's the, you can run brawl, you can run a longer range comp. And we come to Pandora's Vault, the real brawl map here, where the Reaper, the May are going to be so effective. This map is going to favor Pandora's composition more than the city one, the last map here on Busan. So this is going to be Sympathy's hardest fight. If they take this, they could very easily take the third and then continue the series. But it's going to come down to, can they out-brawl the team who's just been ace on the brawl the entire game?
Yeah, this is going to be so incredibly close here. Like we said, No Sympathy not complete strangers to having their backs up against the wall like this. Angel Boy now is going to get walled off, but the bubble is going to connect just in time, prolonging their death, and a really big Bionade coming up means that this could still be doable, but No Sympathy are choosing just not to commit too aggressively into that, but they do take out Combat Frogger, so no Lucio, missing a lot of sustain, a lot of heals, and most importantly, a lot of speed on the side of Pandora's Wrath, but they do have point control here, so it shouldn't be a massive issue for the time being.
Yeah, well, they're just, No Sympathy just waiting for the respawns. They're going to push in here. They're going to try and build up whatever they can. They're going to go into the Coalescence, but a lot of people are down on health for Pandora here. It's going to be really interesting to see who takes it.
They now push forward as Crimson is able to pin quads up against the wall. Things are looking really tough here for No Sympathy as the Coalescence is going to be committed as well. The stagger picks are going to come out as well as the cleanup kills are there. That is absolutely brutal. So much ult charge going off over the side of Pandora's Wrath, who now have a Blossom and a Shatter ready to go, Arcas.
Yeah, Pandora, it's just brawl. We're just out-brawling here. This is the map that they picked, and this was the point that they knew they had the best shot at winning. And all they need to do is take their best possible shot at winning and just capitalize on it, and we're seeing
All right,
that
Molten Core
coming
is
out.
going to be committed, which helps Notum to get out of this room, but both the DPS are down very, very early on. Raven does go down, and the res comes through, so they are 5-on-5, even on point right now, but that's not the ideal start you wanted. Bob comes out, runs straight into a wall, and able to start to get them any card progress, but the wall coming out gives Bob a pretty good LOS and rains some damage down, interestingly enough. Nana Boost is going to come out onto Angel, who starts to swing away. The Shatter is there for Crimson, but doesn't find anybody. Now the pin coming out is absolutely enormous. Can Angel Boy hold on? They do have a Valkyrie Mercy pocketing them, and the purple is there. And ooh, the pin does come out, and eventually Crimson does go down to Angel Boy. So no, something looking like they're going to start to be able to swing this around, but the stalls are there coming out from Pandora's Wrath. They might just be able to get this to OT or at the very least one fight territory. Things are looking pretty good for them, even if they do end up losing this.
Yeah, Pandora put themselves in a great position here. They're going to have the ult advantage coming in. They're still stalling it out. They're going to bring it to just the 99 overtime. Puts themselves in just... all they need to do is win 1 point here. They could build up their last 3 ults, have a push, take the ult of No Sympathy out, like 2-3 of them out with no ults on their side, and then just push in with the heavy ult advantage, with the brawl play advantage. This has all the makings of Pandora. Just they need to play smart here, and they take it. All they need to do is
This
have
could
the
be
confidence.
it, Arcast. One fight to decide the championship. The Blizzard is going to be the first thing committed here, and the turret is going to get getting rid of us all. A new purple nade and an even bigger shatter, but the grab gets eaten. I don't believe it. Now Supreme is going to get so many picks here, despite the sound barrier connecting here on the side of Pandora's Wrath. Both teams investing absolutely everything into this fight. They want this championship bad. Pandora's Wrath, they're pressing W, pressing triangle, and trying to make this work, and they are going to make this work. It's just the Torture left on point here, and Angel Boy coming out with a great pin. It's not quite over yet, but things look extremely good for Pandora's Wrath. Once again, 99.50, the championship on the line. Another, oh my goodness, an enormous Bionade coming out. Everybody's so very low. Crimson means taking down Supreme with another double kill. Quads is absolutely carrying this fight on their backs right now. The Nano Boost coming in as well, just to be safe. Those are some of the biggest Bionades I've ever seen in my life, Arcast. I don't believe it. The clutch factor is well and alive. No Sympathy somehow managed to hang on here.
Just they were able to come back in with the Bob, and the Nano they came back in with ults. Respawns came in, and they took it. But now Pandora going to come back in with their own ults. They're going to have 3 here. No Sympathy, nowhere close to any. They're going to have to hold this fight for so long with nothing here. It's going to be extremely hard.
Well, Crimson is going to go down first, so they do have a numbers advantage, but, oh, picture coming out left, right, and center. Raven, especially the double kill, is going to be so deadly, and a Miracle Stall is going to have to come out on the side of No Sympathy if they want anything else here. Pandora's Wrath is so close to that championship, and they are your CGL Tier 3 champions! What a bit of play coming out from both sides, with Pandora's Wrath ultimately just coming out on top, playing so cleanly, so well. No Sympathy clutching that up right at the very end was so absolutely enormous, and it breaks my heart for me to tell you guys that didn't end up working out. But Pandora's Wrath, after an incredible bit of gameplay, an incredible series, incredible team plays, and incredible DPS pop-up moments, take home the CGL championship.
I'm not entirely sure if we started this series at the 3rd on Rialto, that this wouldn't be just a 7-8 map set. This every part of the way was extremely close, and it got closer and closer and closer as it went down. That was actually the only map where No Sympathy didn't have any real score on the board. It was 0-2, but that is still so, like, the percentage wise and just general fights was so close that the 0-2 doesn't really give it credence. Pandora are able to give that 0-2 or 2-0 for them. So it's just that final stamp for them that, yeah, you beat us on the one map, but we made sure you didn't get anything there for when we win. The Sympathy, it's still so close. Both teams such a high level. Pandora just have a bit more of just a bit higher of a gameplay threshold, while Sympathy have a bit more of a game sense threshold where they're able to learn on the fly, learn from the game, and then utilize that in the game and use their ults when they're not being their own worst enemy. They're working at a higher level on that game sense than Pandora, but Pandora just consistent, much more consistent than Sympathy here. And just consistent game of play. If you have consistent gameplay, you can falter here and there, but you will in the end. The longer it goes, the more chance you have of winning. And throughout the series, that's what we saw from Pandora. Just great
I
play
think
throughout.
I think you're absolutely right. Pandora's Wrath and No Sympathy both had extremely strong parts coming in here, but Pandora's Wrath just making it, they just had such an easier time placing their Legos together in the right spot. And No Sympathy just were not the best puzzle solvers. And when it came to putting all that together, when it did come together, we saw the Rialtos, we saw the Busans. They were close maps, they were good maps. But when it didn't come together on the first 2 to 3 maps, it was pretty brutal for them. And Pandora's Wrath, just like you said, the consistently high level of performance that they were able to bring out, ultimately take home the championship. What a great series we've had the absolute privilege of bringing you. The CGL Grand Final season is still going on. So tomorrow at 2 p.m., we'll have the EU Tier 3 Grand Final coming up. And at 7:30 p.m., we have 8 p.m. I can't read. At 8 p.m. tomorrow on the CGL2 channel, Arcast Joker and I will be back to bring you the Tier 2 Grand Final as well. Once again, Pandora's Wrath is going to take the win 4-1 against No Sympathy to take home the championship. And just a little bit of a discussion about the MVPs. I have a couple of mind Arcast. I think Zephyria and Raven definitely deserve to walk away with some crowns. I think both of them played extremely well. I think for myself, I think Zephyria might just tip it a little bit because I might be extremely in the extreme minority for saying what I'm about to say, but I very, very much enjoy good Mei gameplay.
I do as well. Just it's a character that causes a lot of frustration. A lot of people don't like the Mei, but when you just look at a Mei play, it's basic. It's a tank. It's a DPS with tank qualities. You can hold spaces. You can use the wall as a main tank, and then the Mei is almost as a pseudo off tank. And if you really get good at just slowdowns, walls, you can really dictate the entire game. Just focus it around you. And if you have that everything's focused on you, you can determine how the game goes. And that for the entirety, for a good amount of King's Row, when we saw the Mei come out, it was just so just efficient. We saw this instantly took just all of King's Row when they attacked that first round. It's just like what, 4 minutes, 4:18, I think was left on the clock. That is such an efficient, just an efficient time, and it comes down to just Mei being that second main tank while also being a second off tank, and just completely dictating the pace of play. We saw that throughout the entire series. Li Zhang, King's Row, just the entire time. We saw great play from Zephyr.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the ability for Zephyria to make the most use out of Mei's kit to dictate tempo kind of takes the cake for me. So, Zephyria is going to be our MVP of the day. Once again, Pandora's Wrath is going to take the championship 4-1 against No Sympathy. They are your CGL Tier 3 North American champions. Your MVP for the day is Zephyria. Today's cast was brought to you by myself, Charles Tang. Join me at the desk as Arcast. And in the producer's booth, it's going to be Joker's Ransom. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll be back tomorrow. And wherever you are, good evening, good morning. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.